Hello, world. It's Katha Cato, the Executive Director of the Queens World Film Festival, and Preston Cato is not with me tonight, my trusty sidekick, because it is submission season and he is watching films. So it is my job to be working here with Dedline AV, who is taking care of us, and we're going to have some guests on. And I'd like to welcome everybody to what we call the listening tour. It's actually a listening stop on the listening tour, and the listening tour is a program of the Queens World Film Festival. And people ask us, what is the listening tour? Well, in September we kind of started this experiment where we started gathering small groups of people together to talk about hope and resilience, because we've been through a lot, and it has grown into something very wonderful. We have 12 finished short pieces of compilations of people just across Queens, and those are living on the website right now. And there are, I believe, 14 in production, including this, what we're doing tonight. Usually we meet with people directly and then we edit it all up and we put it together. But tonight we're going to do something different. We're going to have all 4 people here at once, and we're going to go around and they're going to respond to the prompts. And it's really about just creating space for a person to respond to the prompt without that person thinking, how's it going to be received? And without the listeners thinking, well, how can I insinuate myself into that? How can I agree? How can I do anything? Just let that thought kind of be there. And our only job is to listen and let that person know that we're listening. So we're going to be recording some of these, and then we're going to be releasing them all through June. And I'm kind of excited because tonight we have 4 people with us that they're very near and dear to the festival, and they have all gone on to do incredible work, and they have left their imprint on the festival. And I know that if they come back, if they work the festival again, or if they run into somebody at another job who's been on it, like, all they have to do is say stuff like spreadsheets, huh? Or let's audit some submissions, shall we? And they would instantly know the experience, the shared experience. They really help build the festival. So it is with great pride and excitement I'd like to welcome Anita Raswant and Richard Calvache and Ayodele Campbell and Marcus Antonio Jones, or Antonio Marcus Jones. It's Antonio Marcus Jones. I swear I know him. Yes? Can we hear everybody, Matthew?
Can you hear me? I was on mute. So.
Yeah, well, who am I to think that you could be muted? That's just ridiculous. I will not be muted. You need that t-shirt. Okay, so welcome everybody. It's good to see you. It's great to see you. Everybody good? Thumbs up? Thumbs up?
Hello.
Glad to be here.
All right, everybody. So we're going to start probably with Anita, and you're just going to introduce yourself and tell us what is your history with the festival. And at the end, we're going to talk about what you're doing now, but your history in the festival and maybe why you're here tonight. Okay, so let's start with Anita.
Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. My name is Anita Raswant, and I joined Queens World Film Festival in 2016. And my fellow colleague here, Marcus, is the person who introduced me to Katha and Preston. And I used to be a local Jackson Heights resident, and so I thought, let me join a festival in my neighborhood. And I'm still a Queens resident, but I am still a big fan of Queens and the film festival world. And I am here because I love the festival, I love the Catos, I love everyone here on the video, and I love film. And I'm going to throw it to Ayodele.
Hello, hi. My name is Ayodele, and I learned about the Queens World Film Festival December of 2018, and I started as a festival associate. I love Katha Cato. Her energy was so infectious, and I really wanted to be a part. I was in performing arts and in theater, and this was the first time me experiencing film. And so that's why I've been here all these years, and I just love the work that they're doing. And that's really the reason why. It's the people behind the films is the reason why I'm here today. So great to be here. And I'm going to pass it now to Mr. Rich.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Richard E. Calvache, also known as Mr. Rich. Geez, where do I start? I mean, I think I've been here from the very beginning of the festival. I've known the Catos, so well, I've known Katha for years. I'm not going to say how many years, but I've known her since I was a teenager, and that's a long time ago. I too am also a Jackson Heights native, born and raised in Jackson Heights. And I found out through the festival, through Katha, through many of our adventures, you can say, I started going into the process of opening my own production company, which had some educational value, and I used to teach film. And through all of that, I just happened to run into Katha, and I told her, hey, I'm become a film teacher. She's like, that's funny because I work for a community organization that needs film teachers. So we bonded that way again. And then she told me all about the festival, and I got involved since the very, very, very beginning. I love that this festival is in my old neighborhood I grew up in, because opportunities like this festival gives not only to filmmakers, but also the education of going into schools and teaching films to local schools in Jackson Heights, to me is superb, only because that was something I was missing growing up, and I had to go to the city. So I stand behind of everything that this festival does, community-wise, education-wise, creative-wise, and filmmaker-wise. So that's why I'm involved with the film festival, and that's why I like everything that you guys do. So. And I also know Mr. Marcus Jones. We were former colleagues at FAO Schwartz, and I also brought him along too, which, as of now, I'm going to cue you to go next.
Thank you, Richard, Mr. Rich. Hi, my name is Marcus Jones. I can't remember when I started the festival. It's like I know that it was around 2015 or 16, I'm not sure. But I feel like the festival is like that friend that you know that you're really good friends. You're just not sure when you met that you know that you're friends. But yeah, I remember Rich talking to me about the festival, and I wasn't sure about films. I'm like Ayodele, I am an actor. I did theater. I wasn't sure about film, but it was a way to open up, try new things, and it was an amazing ride. And I am so thankful for what Queens World Film Festival does, not only for me and my friends, but for the community. It's really a community festival, and I love that. And I'm here because I love that. I'm here because I love the community effort that the festival does, and I love what Katha and Preston and all you wonderful people connected with the festival, what y'all do for not only the Jackson Heights community, but also the film community, which is such a huge, big, diverse community. So yeah, that's all.
I'm going to go just a little bit off script because when you guys were talking, I see almost a slideshow in my head of the street fairs, the pop-up film school, the young filmmakers program, Ayodele walking down the ramp of the big house, Anita going back and forth, and Marcus over at the secret theater, and when we were doing these things, when you were here, did you know it was special? Did it feel special when you were doing it?
I'm going to answer that. Yes. Yes, I felt it. And that's the reason why I kept coming back for more, only because growing up in Jackson Heights, again, back 80s, 90s, there wasn't that much available. And seeing it now as an adult, as much as I could either be envious about it, it's God, I wish I had this at my age, or I could participate it and bring it to the next generation, and hopefully it continues. And it no longer be some sort of wishing that I wish there was something more to do with the community creative wise. So yes, I knew it was something special because I knew it was something different that the neighborhood was not quite used to, but needed it.
I guess everybody else's silence means just one thing. You're too emotional to respond.
Well, I will say, you know what? I'll say this. This past festival, was really special, because I really got to like talk to a lot of it. Like I've always gotten to talk to filmmakers, but like as I'm getting older and knowing what it means to actually just be present in the moment and listen to people and actually listen to their stories and actually like listen to how their personal stories inspired their films. Like, I don't know if I saw how special it was when I was first doing it, but now it's like, oh yeah, like this is absolute. It's not gold, it's platinum. It's like it's diamond edition. Like this is something that really is, you don't get it everywhere.
I'm going to add on to that if you guys don't mind. The only reason why I want to add on is only because even most recently, I'd have to say during the pandemic, first of all, I got to give it to Queens World Film Festival for just striving beyond with where everything was shutting down. You guys just literally just blossomed and gave so many opportunities, not just in person, but online when things were settling down. And that to me also stuck out because after almost a year of the whole world being grounded, this was sort of coming back to literally a celebration of film, a celebration of community, a celebration of networking again, bringing it back to what it is. And during that time, it was very needed. And that's one of the I should say chapter markers that stick to my head if I ever have to go through the timeline of Queens World Film Festival. Yeah, again, I agree with you. The Young Filmmakers Program, the social media workshops that we had, yes, it will still be there. But the one thing that will always stick out is literally the first time we opened up the film festival after the pandemic and how everyone was literally rejoiced. It was the happiest festival, to be honest. Everyone was celebrating. That's how I felt.
It was something, you know, it was something. And I feel like everybody just said, let's go, let's just do it. Who cares? Let's just do it. Okay. We're going to go, Anita, or Ayodele, am I excluding you or am I gracefully moving on? Okay, all right, great. Okay, so we're going to start the actual listening tour. I'm going to ask the first prompt. Everybody ready? Everybody ready? Just shake it out a little bit. Okay, so how do you define hope? And Ayodele, I'm going to start with Ayodele.
How do I define hope? Is the expectation that something is going to happen. That's how I define hope. Going to Marcus.
How do I define hope? Hope to me, ooh, I haven't thought about it. How do I define hope? It's a bunch of definitions, but I would say hope for me is the one thing that is always there, no matter how big or small it is. I'm gonna go to Anita.
That's a great question. I guess I would define hope as a positive feeling that can spark or rekindle a desire to change, to be creative, to be loving, and to move yourself and others forward, which the festival does every single day. And I think hope sustains our dreams, and our dreams shape our future. Rich?
Thank you. How do I define hope? I guess it's the expectation of a desire and your will to manifest. It's that strong urge of a desire and a will that you have to sort of manifest whatever that is, whether it's a situation, something tangible, something untangible, but it's sort of that, it's almost like I almost call it like almost like a superpower, because when you're at your lowest and you're hoping for something to happen to the point where it's either going to happen or you're going to have to make it happen. And that's what I feel what hope is. Pass it back to Katha.
After 2 years, you think I'd learn how to unmute myself gracefully, but I guess not. All right, next prompt, which is, how do you define resilience? Resilience. And I'm going to go with Anita.
Yet another great question. I define resiliency or resilience as strength. Strength to accept, to adapt, to change your behavior or change other people's behavior for the better, to survive, to challenge yourself and challenge others, and to dare to make a better world. I'll throw it to Marcus.
I think that was a really great definition. I'm going to say the resilience for me is definitely the strength to continue on. And I just really like what you just said, Anita, because continuing on might be going forward, continuing on might be adapting, continuing on might be like just sitting down and being still for a couple of months, allowing yourself to adapt, to change, and continuing to grow through whatever troubles or trials that you may find yourself in. So yes, I'm gonna go with Ayodele.
I think Anita and Marcus said such great, so much power behind their definitions of resilience. And I think for me, resilience is heading straight through what you're probably scared of, what is probably not working in life. Resilience is like, even through the ups and the downs, I'm going to face it head on. It might not come out the result that we want it to come out, but the resilience part of it is actually doing it, actually jumping into the pool, doing it is resilience. And I will take it to Mr. Rich.
What else can I add? I mean, you guys pretty much hit the nail in the coffin with that one. I think it's I agree with everything. It's survival. It's the superpower of being able to let it go, move forward, and survive in a positive way. But you guys pretty much hit it with all your adjectives. So I'll take it back to Katha.
We're halfway through. Here we go. The next prompt is, who is the most resilient person you know? And I'm going with Richard.
Who's the most resilient person that I know? That's a toss-up. I would have to say my parents, both my parents. My father, unfortunately, passed away through COVID. He, however, though, fought for 6 months. So we were kind of fortunate and unfortunate enough to be by his side and be with him. Very fortunate because he needed it, unfortunate because it was very traumatic. But in those 6 months, I learned a lot about my father, how strong he was, how there were certain expectations and certain thoughts that we were trying to make for him for his well-being, which completely surprised us when we realized that we called it wrong. He surprised us in a lot of ways, and he showed me that, you know, unfortunately he did pass away, but, you know, being a father, he still gave me lessons. And that was some of the lessons that he showed me, that no matter what, even when you're down, keep fighting. He did as much as he could. And I'd just have to say my mother, only because I'd say 48 years, almost 50 years they've been married together, old school. So she was kind of like, you know, loyal to the very end, you know. So she took it very hard, but in the past 2 years, she's also grown as well. She's also grown in arc and has surprised me on where she's at. So again, I would have to say my parents, only because they both went through very, very, very traumatic experiences and still showed us that they can do it. So that's who I think is resilient in my life. I will pass it to Anita.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Richard. I guess I would also have to say my parents, not to copycat, but it is true. My parents are, my mother is a widow, but they were in an interracial relationship during a time when it was very difficult. And I think looking back on it now, it's sort of kind of insane to me to think that, you know, that they put up with a lot of problems from society, from within their own families. So I think now that I'm older and thinking about it, I've learned that they really put up a lot just because they loved each other so much. So I think that both of my parents, probably the most resilient people that I know. And similar to Richard, my mother is still like that, and also has learned and grown a lot as a person. So that's what I would think. Sorry, let me go to Ayodele.
Thank you for sharing that. And I would say, yes, definitely the most resilient person I know is my grandmother and my mother, who both have beat and fought cancer. Well, my grandmother twice. She had a brain tumor and then also lung cancer and went through all of the treatments. And she's still here today, still a firecracker. And as well as my mother, who just recently was told that she is cancer-free from breast cancer after surgery, radiation, chemo, and you don't realize how much a trauma it is to go through cancer treatments. But I would say both of them have done it with such grace and such reliant on their beliefs and their hopes in God. And so I think really that has taught me what resilience looks like in the face of adversity. So, and with that, I will give it to Marcus.
Okay. Wow. Thank you all for sharing, because that is amazing. And I'm going to say my mom, and all of the people in my family are resilient. But for this moment, at this time, I'm going to say my mom, because my mom, she, at the age of 16, she had to take care of all of her siblings because her mom had passed away. And I remember last year, like, something had happened and we were on the phone, I was talking to her and she was just like, I've been taking care of people for like since I was a little kid. And I'm like, I know, and you don't have to anymore. You're not. She was like, I have to do this for y'all. I'm like, I am grown. You do not need to take care of me like that anymore. And I just like, I look at her. Last year, she started a career in, or she's been doing it, but she sold her first house last year. She totally renovated the house. She like bought a house, renovated a house in like 6 months, and then sold it. And I'm like, ma'am, you are in like your second act doing it up. Like, you're like, yes. And that is resilience to me. Like, coming back, no matter what age you are, being like, I can, like we were saying, I can adapt and I can find a new way I can redefine myself in this life. So I'm gonna have to give it to Kimberly Annette Jones. That's what I'm gonna have to say is the most resilient person in my life.
So that's your mom or your grandmother?
Sorry, I wasn't clear. That's my mom.
Oh no, that's all right. I probably missed it. Like, okay, so your mom is flipping houses. Good to know.
Yeah, she is
Good to know.
flipping them like pancakes.
Okay. All right. So last one. Here we go. And it is, what do you hope for? What do you hope for? And I'm going to start with Marcus.
Quick turnaround. Okay, then this is what I hope. I really hope that we as I want to say we as a people in general, the world, but I'm going to start more micro to say that us in this country. I hope that we start to see each other as actual human beings. And that we start to, like Queens World Film Festival does, like we start to see each other as a community of people instead of like people who can just do something for me, I can get something from. Because I feel like when we start seeing people as we see ourselves, as real, full human beings, we'll start to treat people a little bit better. I feel like a lot of people are doing that, but I want us to be more of a community, more of a, I have each other's back. That's what I hope for. I'm gonna go with Richard.
Hope. Feels like a catchphrase a president would use for running, but hope. Keep hope alive. I hope that we evolve. I hope that the younger generation start breaking, changing, adapting all of the things that do not work in our lives, in our government, in our day-to-day. I want us to take the opportunity. I'm hoping that we can take the opportunity where we sort of took a break with the pandemic to really reassess everything and see clearly now that a lot of things are not working. And I'm hoping that the generations coming up behind us have the strength, the knowledge, the hope and resilience to make that change into what we kind of are hoping for ourselves. I mean, where's our flying cars? Where's the future that we kind of always in the back of our mind always had? I mean, right now I feel like instead of feeling that we're in the future, I feel like we're back in the 80s. I feel like we've regressed a little bit. So I hope that the generations coming up have the strength, the knowledge, and the tenacity to make a change. That's my hope. I'm going to pass it to Ayodele.
Yes, hope. My hope, honestly, is that people have some compassion, some sympathy, some empathy for other people. Like you said, we've been through this whole pandemic the last 3 years, and it's sad that people are still the same. They have such an individualistic mindset where you know that what you do impacts this one, impacts that one. And so my hope is that people have some type of compassion for one another. We are all having a hard time. Inflation, gas prices, food prices. Why are we making life more difficult than it is right now? So my hope is that people have some empathy and some sympathy and treat people better than what we've been doing. So that's my hope. I don't know if I'm a little pessimistic about it, but that's hope. Hope is expecting maybe something different will change, something will happen. So I'm holding on to that hope. And then I will give it now to Anita.
I guess I hope for the future that every person looks within themselves and can recognize their own power, the power to recognize their own resiliency and resiliency within their own communities, and the bravery to find their community, if you don't have one. And I hope the future holds more art and more creativity and more gratitude and more laughter and just abundance of love and acceptance. And I'll pass it back to Katha.
Well, we made it through the listening tour, and I hope that when you see this and that you see it when we're finished and it's up on the site, that you'll take the time to listen to it again, because from the position where I am, watching all these faces come up and speak, you know, it's really very powerful, and I really appreciate everybody's honesty and willingness to just be present. I really appreciate that, you guys, a lot, a lot. So I want to know though, what are you doing now? Anita, you're doing wonderful things. Everybody's doing wonderful things. So Anita, where are you now? What are you doing? What's up?
I am working for the Nantucket Film Festival as an associate programmer and program manager. So I program short films and I manage their screenplay competition. And the festival is in about a month, so things are a little crazy here. And I also work for Doc NYC as a program manager, and some other things are coming up. So that's those are my two festivals that I mainly work for right now, but I'm still in the film festival world, and I will come back to Queens World Film Festival when I can.
So Anita, do you find yourself saying the things that I have said, and inside your head you're saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just said that"?
Not quite, but I do have similar processes that I learned at Queens World Film Festival, especially the auditing. I have some interns who are also learning from me, and I have to explain why we're doing it this way. But, you know, I learned a lot at the festival, and that I have continued to use those skills that I've learned. So I'm hoping to pass it on in my own way.
Okay. All right. Thank you. We're at Richard. Well, you're doing a lot as well. Fill us
Oh my
in.
God. All right. Well, let's see. I'm back into teaching. I'm teaching science. I'm actually opening up new classes as well. FAO Schwartz is continuously using me as the official mad scientist professor Atlas. I'm going to be flying to Minneapolis again next month for a target meeting. Yes, Marcus. Yes, I'm the official professor Atlas there. Yes, Marcus is just like his eyes are pretty much explaining. So yes, I'm doing that. And then teaching wise, I'm teaching in several different schools. And I'm also getting back into acting, a theater performance a reading that I did not too long ago of a show called Eight Tales of Pedro. Might appear again, possibly, no spoilers. That's me sort of hoping. And then most recently today too, I might have a partnership with someone who is actually considering doing a TV show with puppets about the Taino and sort of like indigenous people, and sort of like it's an educational TV. So they're asking me to sort of come up like with a indigenous science or spiritual character that will also interact with the puppets. I will probably be the only real person in this show. So I got that news today. So
that's extraordinary. You've made so much happen in your lives, both of you. Ayodele, what are we doing? What's up these days?
Well, I'm not in the performance film era right now. I started to focus on my degree that I got. So I'm a licensed social worker now, and I actually am a telehealth therapist working towards my clinical license. So hopefully one day I'll have my own practice. And I also am the founder and executive director of my very own nonprofit called Melanin Missions, Inc., which was founded back in 2021, dead smack in the pandemic. And it's a nonprofit that awards grants to organizations providing community service, focused like travel experiences for youth of color in the United States. We see the disparities between youth of color traveling, whether it's study abroad. So we try to provide grants to organizations who are taking young people on trips. And so this past year, we were able to give a grant to an organization called I Fly Youth, which is going to take about 12, 13-year-old girls to Costa Rica for service learning. We're trying to, sponsor passports and things like that. So my passion for travel, young people, exposure has kind of come into one. It's very hard managing a nonprofit, but I think I'm really into what I feel like I'm where I've been trying to figure out where I should be. And so it's hard, but that's where I am right now. And that's all my focus is. Yeah.
I'm really, moved, and I'm tempted to say, congratulations and my condolences, because, it's really, really hard, but I see the pride in your face. So I'm just going to go with congratulations for the win on that. Okay.
Thank you.
You're the bomb. That's unbelievable. Marcus, what are you doing? What's up?
Before I go, Ayodele, what was the name of your nonprofit again? Because I am like on it right now. What's the name of it?
Melanin Missions Inc. MELANIN Missions.
I got it, and it was the first one to pop up. Ooh, girl, that website. Ooh, yes. Okay. Then.
Thank you.
What am I doing right now? I'm really working on sleep. And no, just playing. But no, actually, for real. I've been doing a lot of readings lately for a lot of new plays that's coming out. This is amazing. I'm doing like, one of my friends wrote a play called Demolition of Stream. It's a beautiful, queer, Mad Max type of play that I'm going to be doing a reading for next month. And I'm also doing like 4 readings this weekend. So I'm like, oh my gosh. But besides that, like I feel like this is my still period, kind of. This is like a period where like I'm kind of busy, but also I have like pockets of like just being very still. So yeah, I'm very proud of everyone though. Like y'all are like doing it and doing it and doing it and like
I'm kind of in awe of the way the evening went, and not that much of a hugger, but if you were here, I would probably hug all of you, and muster the strength to say how much I love you all and how thankful I am, not just for all the time that we spent in the past, but now when I look at my colleagues, people who are living in their passion, and I don't feel quite so alone. I'm so appreciative of you guys. I really am. So, maybe we'll do this in the future when we can talk about what really matters, which, as we know, is my hair. All right. So I love you all, and thanks for listening. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
thank you.